For the fitness professionals watching, it's a really big task, like systemizing your sales processes and things like that. A couple of things that you guys did really well. You had very refined sales systems in your fitness business. For those who have like never thought about systemizing their sales processes, where would be like a couple of good places to start?
And it sounds so basic when I go through this. I'm actually doing a presentation at our elite event in Melbourne on the weekend about this exact topic. And it simply starts by writing down exactly what you do currently.
Yep.
Because a lot of people want to build out a system and they want it to be amazing. And a lot of the times they can overlook the basics that they're doing currently that are really setting them up for success. So I always start with just note down what you're doing currently and what systems you have in place. And from there, you can start to refine it.
Yeah, and that's one of the issues that we had when my business partners and I were doing sales before we had a team. Everyone were growing and everything was going pretty good, but we all did it like slightly differently. So one of the things we had to do when we build it into sales systems is have a set flow. So, step one, we get the lead. Step two, they do a 15-minute triage call. Step three, they book their appointment. Step four, we get the consult to attend. Step five, we run the consult and just really map it out. And that was like our exact flow. It was very, very simple. So that then you know what the actual sales processes look like. And then you can align all the training materials and resources around it. And then in time, once you've been tracking it for a little bit, you can add KPI and tracking data. We generally didn't put KPIs on ourselves for the first 4 weeks because we got to see what's the lay of the land, how many consultations are we actually getting booked before we set a goal of, getting 15 consults a week. So we kind of just let things roll for a month and then we set, pretty hard and strict KPIs.
Yeah. And what I've sort of seen over the last couple of years, with chatting with business owners is when they're the person doing everything, they have the freedom because they're the business owner. So if a lead calls them up and cold calls them, one day they might book them in for a consultation in club. The next day they might try and sell them over the phone. The next day they might do something different, where once you actually start delegating it to a team, you don't want all of these different options. You want to have one system so you can get a predictable outcome. So it's really just thinking, hey, which way do we want to go? What system do we want to follow so the team can learn the way to do it?
Yeah, and then you've really got to back your system for better or worse. And then, say if the system that Brad builds out for our sales flow, he will back that. So if everyone follows the sales system and it doesn't work, Brad will take ownership of that. But then if the team isn't following the system, then you'll still take ownership of it. But thus, it's like follow the bloody system. And that happens so much, especially with a lot of the fitness business owners we work with. I was having a chat to a guy today. And we're talking about an operations checklist for his business. And then I kind of showed him ours and he's like, oh, I did that 2 years ago. And I'm like, well, why aren't you using it? And he goes, I know. And that's that triangle. Have you ever read the book, The E-Myth by Michael Gerber?
I have not.
Read that. So there's like, so technician, which would be being a personal trainer, then a manager, which would be like a PT manager, and then a visionary. So I've never reached visionary. I actually don't know many people who truly have. They kind of do hybrid roles. But what a lot of people do is they set up all these amazing systems and there's no one to manage them that they're actually getting done. It's a bit like I did a post the other day of the bathrooms. Did you see that? Of like all
I did see that. Yeah.
And the funny thing is in that bathroom, I'll get a photo of it, is there's a cleaning checklist that people tick off and it's just like dust on it and everything like that. And I'm like, oh, well, so it's like, how you follow the system.
Yeah. And this is the thing, right? It's like when you have a system, it gives you a predictable outcome and needs to be followed, but it needs to be followed. It's like, writing someone the perfect program, the perfect weight training program. It may be the most advanced program in the world, but if they can't stay compliant to it, it's not going to get the result. So it doesn't matter how fancy it is. And this is why quite often with systems, it's what's the simplest way possible to do something. And, I'm not a lazy person by any stretch of the imagination, but sometimes having a lazy mindset around things just makes you want to not complicate it.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. What's that old quote? Simple scales, fancy fails, right? Yeah. It's like you hear it hundreds of times a year. And it's so true, especially I work obviously with a lot of people in marketing. They make their marketing so complex. It's like, I saw a presentation the other day of someone trying to plan a gym's marketing. And it was like a 21-day offer, then a 28-day offer, and then a 6-week offer starting on January 4, and then a 21-day offer, and then another 6-week. I'm just like, yeah, good luck running the ads for that, unless you have like a full-time ads manager, someone like on it. Imagine just communicating that to your team. If
Yeah.
our offer change, like in any big business, when you change an offer, you can't just change it like that. It's like there's 7 people you got to tell that, the offer's being changed and the sales processes, let alone the onboarding systems. It's just chaotic.
Also the systems for the sales team, right? Like we speak about it quite often, Jimmy. We went from, no free offer, essentially. People join the inner circle directly. And then now we're running a free 14 days. But if we were to change back, it would be very hard. It would take us probably a month or so, because people have been seeing 14 days free for such a period of time that there needs to draw that line in the sense like, okay, now this is the new messaging, but the sales team need to be aware there's going to be some overlap still of people coming in from different offers. And if you have an advanced sales team, they can probably adapt. But most people inside facilities, again, they want to sell one program. Let the marketing change, but let the fulfillment system that you have that gets clients the amazing results stay the same.